You use this marketing technique every single day. You do because it's ingrained in you. You've learned it from a very early age, from your parents, from your grandparents, from your siblings, from your teachers, from your mentors and coaches. You have learned it, you know it. Now we're just going to apply it to marketing. Take a look. Hi, it's Stuart Sutton, author of Niche Marketing Blueprint. I'm a working agent just like you. I go on listing appointments, navigate contracts to closing. Bottom line is that with a niche, you really can do just what the cover of that book says. Earn all the money you want, quit working long hours, weekends and evenings, and spend more time with your family. This Tuesday morning marketing tip is going to help your marketing, and it will improve the response that you have in verbal, ads, postcards, conversations, presentations. It is very, very effective. As I said earlier, you already know it, the rule of honesty. And you're probably thinking, well, I'm always honest in my marketing. Well, of course you are. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But I am saying that sometimes prospects not only sense when they're not being told the truth, they sense when they're not being told the whole truth. You're probably the same. When you're dealing with a big ticket item or even a small ticket item, you sense if you're not being told the whole story. And I find that sometimes in real estate, our customers, our clients aren't necessarily told the whole story. So I'm encouraging you to do that. And here's some examples. I'm going to give you some actual hard example of this. Be honest in every facet of your marketing, from conversations to postcards to Facebook ads to anything that you're doing in the way of marketing. I'm going to actually go a step further. Be honest to the point of being disarmingly truthful, where they're shocked that you're so truthful. Guess what? That's going to put you in a different league than other agents in your market. When consumers get that from you, you're in a different league. You have a different level of credibility. Let me give you a couple of examples. You may not be the number one agent in your office or in your market or whatever the case is, and that's okay. Everybody can't be number one. And if the number one agent is what everyone wanted, then they do 100% of the business. But of course they don't. So you can use something like this. I'm not the number one agent in the area. When homeowners find out why, they want to hire me anyway. Well, why would that be? Well, maybe it's because, and if you take the next step, it's because you didn't want to grow to be number one, because you might have to give up some of the personal service that you really enjoy and that your clients really enjoy from you. This is based on a psychological rule that's so important that when you admit a weakness, the next statement you make, the consumer accepts as fact. So if you say, I'm not the number one agent in this area, you just kind of admitted a weakness. Hey, we're not the absolute number one. But the statement after that, the next thing you say, they believe it, and they believe it with all their heart because you were so honest. Does that make sense? Now, I remember one time sitting in a listing appointment, and I don't ever show my status and my rankings and things like that, but they must have had a questionnaire. You've probably seen sellers that had these questionnaires they got offline. So they're going down this list of questions, and they say, where do you rank in your office? Are you number one, number 5, number 10? Where are you? How big is your office, and where do you rank? We had a pretty big office, and I admitted that I was the number one agent in that office. And they said, well, that's interesting because we just interviewed someone else from your office, and they said they were number one. I didn't want to bash anybody or call anyone to the carpet, so I just said, it's very possible they're number one in another category because there's different ways to be number one. And there are. Maybe that agent was number one in being late to sales meeting. You just never know. But if you will admit the weakness up front, don't be afraid to say, hey, here's my weakness, because whatever you say next is going to be taken for granted. Here's another one. I've used this in marketing before, and it's very, very effective. You've seen the cards, and they get to the point of sellers really not even hardly paying attention anymore. This home, we sold it in 3 days. We sold it in 17 days. We sold it in 12 hours, whatever the case is. Okay. Here's one that I used and used effectively, because do you sell every single home faster than everybody else? Of course you don't. We all have those homes, those sellers, those listings that are just a little more challenging. So you could use something like this. It took longer to sell this home than we anticipated, but as soon as we understood why, we adjusted and it went under contract. So you've basically said, hey, It took longer. We didn't sell this one really fast. We didn't sell this one faster than average, faster than all my competition. But guess what? We had the professionalism and the foresight to look at why it wasn't selling and make an adjustment. Sellers really appreciate that honesty and they appreciate that approach. I hope that makes sense. So don't exaggerate positives. Emphasize the positive realistically. Overpromising is something that nobody really likes or wants. Don't ignore your negatives. You can actually admit your negatives. You can share your negatives in what you've done positively to overcome them. Like, I'm not number one, but I give such great service, my clients love my service. So here's an easy exercise you can do. Look at any and all of the marketing you've done and see if you can throw in some disarming honesty. And guess what? It doesn't matter if it's a weakness that other agents go, well, look at that. That's a weakness. That's okay. If you compensate by giving them a strength that is very important to them right after. Use psychology. It's there. You can ignore it or you can use it. And this tip about honesty can be used in conversation, listing presentations, on postcards, online ads, in posts, wherever you want. But you have to purposely think about it and use it. Because those psychology and sociology rules are there, you can ignore them or you can use them to your benefit. And use them to your benefit while following the rule of honesty. Be disarmingly honest and it will truly benefit you. Now here's a great tip on branding. We're going to move real quick from marketing to branding. Take a look at this video. It's a great strategy for branding that you'll want to be sure you implement. It's a short video and I hope to see you there.